So, good morning. It's Saturday, 9 a.m., a little bit early, sorry. And today's a little bit crazy. But we have a great talk today, or call, because it's all about the opposite and how to reconcile them. So, it's going to be fun. And I think it's one of the most clear ones to start shifting how we are approaching and how we are talking and all that. So, it's going to be a good thing. But before that, I want that you will tell me what we like to celebrate today and so far. And we will review some of the things that we have done, and we will start to co-create together. So who wants to start? Paige, Laura?
I can start. Do you want to start, Laura?
No, of course. Go ahead, Paige.
Well, I kept some of the promises to myself, like you guys have been talking about. So I ended up getting my rose.
Oh, yoo-hoo! Good.
And then I'd actually decided I was going to take time off between Christmas and New Year's just to kind of not worry about the business and really just focus on some things. But I said I would do that. But then yesterday I just decided to straighten up my office and clean and get organized. And
That's perfect. That's good.
It felt good to do it, and I didn't feel like I had to. I did it because I wanted to. So, I worked for 4 or 5 hours yesterday before the party, and it felt good. Sort of getting on track, ready for the new year.
Okay, so what do you think is the difference between before and now? The decision and the experience by that decision?
I think as I gave myself permission not to do it, so it didn't feel like it was an obligation or I had to do it, or then you procrastinate or you find...
Correct, that's the key. Perfect. Yeah. Yes, this is what I wanted to hear, because even if we think that this job or this process is not doing things, in the subconscious mind is working. So just this act is working.
Good.
Right?
Good.
So it's not like I must to, I have to. It's like creating a trigger, because we put in ourselves in the age, if I'm not doing, I will be not good, right? Now it's different. The energy that is coming, or the frequency that we're doing the things is completely different, right?
Yes. Oh, and I put my crystals out last night under the full moon.
Yes.
I was late, but I put them out.
Good. That will be awesome, because tonight it's going to be All right, good. Yes. Mrs. Laura, how are you? Oh, just a second, I mute. Just a second. Now, go ahead.
I said I'm great. I also got my rose. Mine's upstairs in a little vase.
Yeah.
So I would like to celebrate. Yeah, I feel like yesterday I was busy. I didn't do a lot for the course, but the night before I wrote out my list, because it was you were the second person that I heard it. Like I listened to a lot of spiritual YouTubers, and someone else said to do it, and I was like, well, I have to do that. And I made a point to do it on the winter solstice, because I felt like there's something. I just felt like we were saying that inspiration to do it, and I said, you know what, I really have to sit down and do it this evening. So I did it after I came back from yoga, which I had put too. That was amazing. That's
the second day, right?
Yes, and it's funny because had I not gone that first day, because you held me accountable to it, I wouldn't have really. I would have seen the celebration, but I probably wouldn't have gone, because I was out of the momentum of it. I just would have said, oh, that's nice that they're doing that. But I participated in it, and it was challenging, but it was so nice. It was so wonderful to be back with everyone. And I felt like now I'm back at yoga. I'm back in my practice,
Perfect. And this is also helps a little bit better, I think, to increase the frequency, right? Because this is a kind of waves around us that is helping us to be in alignment or more balanced, right?
So many levels, because it helped me stick to my word, which
this is perfect.
Enhance my self-worth, but also, my self-care. I'm sore from it, because it was a challenging class, but not a bad sore, like I said, just I learned a lot from it, and I feel like everything's connected. Like every day I learned something new. I like can feel the expanding, like the elevation, you know. I just been having so many like light bulb moments, you know, that I mean, I can't even, it would take me a long time to even explain it all, you know, but just excited.
And what about the people around you? What they feel, and you as well, Paige, around you? Any differences? Any different approach? Calls that is coming from nowhere? Something that you can experience so far?
Well, I mean, I try not to talk. I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to always be like, oh, my husband. But because I know this class is about me, and I really want to. But it does. You can't help but notice when, like, Bobby did this too. Like, and he's learning from it too. He's not, you know, it's just carrying over. I can't think of any specific calls, but Paige probably does. But this things Bobby did, and just, I don't know if Paige does. She can.
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Conscious.
Oh, yes. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Conscious effort to really sort of focus on the positive, and I haven't responded to some negativity. And I think when you don't feed into that, it doesn't continue to grow and expand. So, and even when people have been negative, I just sort of detach from it and say that's where they're at, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot better, and I felt it hasn't been as draining.
Yeah, that's beautiful, because this is the perception, right? We're trying to observe differently things and be able to be aware about things instead to be attached to them. We can see it, we can embrace it, we can shift, and we can move forward. And this is crucial because this is going to help us as well to grow differently in our lives, in our businesses, and we're going to start to attract, because we create that space of yes and no, right? And it's very, very interesting. Okay, so far about the biography, do you had any chance to answer the next septennium? And if yes, how was it? And your feedback, the old agreement, the new agreement that comes to it. Let's see it. Let's review it. Who wants to go first?
Am I muted?
No, you're okay. Yes.
It's interesting because I hadn't taken the time to do it, but I know why. I think I was nervous to do it again. And I'm being honest. I knew I had to, but I'm going to commit to doing it today because I'm saying it and I want to follow through with my word. And I have a little time to do it today. But I was a tiny bit hesitant. I was hesitant because I was afraid what was going to come up again. And I was kind of feeling good, you know, and I kind of felt like nervous that I was going to drudge things back up. And
okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What provokes you to be in frozen mode when you feel that some fear is going to come? What provokes on you, right? When you see it, that some fear is going to come and you're becoming like, I cannot move, I cannot do it, la, la, la. How this happening to you so often as well?
Fear? What sort of happens when I feel the fear, you mean? When I don't feel safe, and is that what you mean? Do you mean events in my, like what?
Yes, in general, it's like you feel that you're going to discover something that maybe it's going to create some discomfort or some, and instead to embrace it, to go for it, you're an observant, you're in a frozen mode, not moving, just because.
Yeah. When I think when I know that I'm going to see other people, like when I'm home here, doing this work and staying very focused and just sort of not really interacting with a lot of people other than maybe Bobby and my kids, then I always feel a little safer. But I always know, it's a little risk to go out and like see my family, see my mom and my dad, who I see often, just interact. So maybe because I knew I was going to see my mom the other day, that's the part, because she's tied into a lot of it, you know. So it has a lot to do with my family and sometimes just being around other people. You know, I'm sensitive and
all right.
I can get easily triggered.
Okay, so if this is a trigger, let's shift it, and we're going to see how we're going to shift it with the opposites, right? But I'm going to give you a tip right now. So we have two options here: to reject it and to feel the fear, right? And this is something that we are choosing, or to embrace it and to see it with compassion, and to see, okay, this is my mom, or this is the circumstance, right? The thing that I have in front of me, but nothing happened. Because I'm choosing that I'm seeing them, or I'm part of it as part of compassion. My compassion towards them is going to help me to move forward and to embrace it. That makes sense?
Yes. So it's better to embrace it.
We have to embrace it, because if not, we are in a hiding mode. We are just running from the situation.
It creates a cycle.
Yes, and it's not only in that particular situation. As you see the experience that, okay, it's better to avoid it, maybe in a new circumstance that maybe it's going to bring you new resources or new opportunities, because you have this trigger, you're going to refuse maybe a huge opportunity just because that trigger appears. Okay?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that could lead to being overwhelmed too, you know, because I mean, intellectually, I know that there are things that I need to shift, you know, and I am avoiding it. But sometimes I feel like, one thing at a time, you know. I started to feel that the other day a little bit, like, wow, there's so many things that I don't follow through with my word. So I have to start one step at a time and start small.
Exactly, start small and just baby steps.
And like you said, it will, I feel like it's safer to, this is what I think you said, to start with the commitments I make to myself.
Yes.
Little self-care things. And then that will, like you said, flex the muscle and raise the elevation. And then the bigger things will become easier.
Exactly. And it's just that you anchor your word. So that means that you're increasing trust and confidence about you. So you're more safe. You're not waiting for no one else to tell you, okay, you're amazing, because you said so. It's coming from the force, or the power is coming from yourself outside, right?
Yeah.
When we're losing the power is because we are looking for credibility from other people, or approval, or recognition, or validation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I was interacting with my mom, I think because of what I kind of started in the process, I did feel a little like, you know, and I can get to a place where I don't, but you're probably right. I probably do shut down a little bit, and that's that's like the way I know how to cope with her. So I don't want to fight with her, and I don't want to snap at every little thing she says, but it's still a little raw because of everything that I started to bring up. But I guess it's part of the process. I have to work through it.
Yes.
See it through.
Yes, exactly. It's part of the process. One step at a time. It's okay. Yes. All right, Paige.
Okay. Yes.
We're talking about the second septennial.
Yeah. The second septennial. You're in pressure. You're feeling when you were doing it.
I mean, I think the overall, like, I've realized we're that between. It's kind of the area at the end of the first septennium, and then the second one. I think where a lot of, obviously, that's why we're doing this, where I can realize a lot of my fear. If insecurity issues come around money, you know, at that time, my house burned down when I was in 4th grade. So I think I was like 9.
Perfect. Good.
And I don't remember if it was before or shortly after that. My father had a heart attack. And at the time then, you know, he was the only bread earner. So we ended up on food stamps for a little while. And then I remember things just changing in my life. You know, at that point, we were like, oh, no, we can't go out and get a real Christmas tree anymore because your father had a heart attack and he can't exert himself. So, you know, we got an artificial tree. So I think that was a lot of where I think things changed. And I have issue. Oh, thank you. Sorry, she just brought my crystals back in.
Oh, that's lovely.
Where I think a lot of my fear around insecurity and feeling of lack of abundance come from.
Perfect. Great.
So, and then shortly after that, then it sort of moves into my parents, I don't know in terms of years, definitely within this time frame, my mom was addicted to pain medication and my father was an alcoholic. And so looking at all the school stuff, like I was answering these questions and I'm like, I didn't really have a teen idol and I didn't have a favorite band. And because I was doing all those things just to get my, I focused on school, that was the one thing I had control of. That was the one thing I was good at. And that's where I spent.
Good. This is crucial because of the wording that you use. I mean, you were great in the school and you could control, right, the outcomes of the school by performing better. And
Right.
this is when it started the analytical part, to be protected, right?
Exactly.
Good.
Exactly. Like, yeah, my parents, they didn't talk. And I think I told you this in one of the last calls, I remember being very depressed. Like I was expected to go on to college and I didn't really want to go to college, but I was college material. And I remember probably being nervous about that and scared and trying to tell my parents how I was depressed. And my father took what I said and disowned me because he thought I was critical of his parenting skills. And, so I think about like right there, like that's a big part why I have a lot of feeling, but I shut that down because other people were not receptive to it.
Perfect. There is a very interesting also part here because from 0 to 9 is when the body is starting to build up, right? All the energetic frequency of the child in that period is to build the muscles, the organs that is going to provide us the motion, right? And the goodwill later on. In this septennium, what is happening is the creativity towards abundance and prosperity, and as well the relationship with other people. And it's crucial because if the basics are okay, you will grow up in a very steady mood, right? But if something happened here and traumas are happening here, what is going to appear is, or to be a male force, we're avoiding the feminine part of ourselves because we have to survive. We are in the survive mode, right? And we are starting to doubt about everything that is happening to us in a very positive way because we are thinking that it's going to disappear. The perception of the reality because happened, right? That's my reality. You create in the subconscious mind as why I'm going to reach out if it's going to go. Why I'm going to create good relationships with people or men, right? Because here is also the dualism in between the pattern, the male and female role. And sometimes we are choosing men as we grew up very weak, right? Because of the circumstances that we pass through. So money has a huge impact of how we perceive that relationships in this time. Right. So how was your perception of abundance in your own power page, in your own capability in that period?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but in terms of abundance, like we never had an abundance, we had enough. And I mean, I started working from the time I was 13, the expectation was, my mother didn't buy extras. If I wanted gum, or if I wanted to go to the movie, I had to pay for those things. So I started babysitting since the time I was 12. And then as soon as I could get working papers at 15, all of that had to come from me because like I said, it's not like we didn't eat, but we just had enough.
And how this impact your life later on?
And I definitely picked up on that. Like I tend to be very frugal. Like part of me really didn't want to, so I had to buy a whole dozen roses to get the one white rose. Yes. And I really struggled with that. I'm like, well, that just seems like a waste of money. To buy those extra 11 roses. And I'm like, no, I'm going to buy the roses. We're going to put them in the kitchen. We'll try to enjoy them before the cats try to eat them. Yeah. But I almost wasn't going to do it because I couldn't get the single rose because I'm not used to,
What is the agreement that you created in that period? What do you think? A few agreements, I can see.
I mean, I guess the agreement is, if you purchase or have more than enough, then it's a waste. And even now I find myself with that, like, I tend to keep things, like I don't like to throw things out, because I'm like, I don't want to just throw it out. Like somebody else, if I can't use it, then I want somebody else to use it. It'll just end up in the landfill, because then I feel guilty if I have more than what I think I should, more than what I need.
Exactly. So what is the agreement that went with you all these years, accordingly as well with business and people? How do you think that this impact your presence in that area?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could say that what carried over is like abundance is unnecessary. Or I've made it, abundance is unwelcome.
Thank you. How this resonates with you?
I'm like, I'm disappointed. I'm like, damn it. Like, that's not.
Yes.
And I guess it's, in a way, it's within my control. But, and I've always felt like, I mean, recently in terms of the business, like I wanted that abundance, I want to be able to live a life where purchasing things that I want to purchase, to get the kind of car that I'd like to get, or to be able to have enough money to be able to work from home and not work for somebody else. But I've wanted that, but in the same way, I've almost, because of the past, it's set up
exactly
where I am right now.
Exactly. It's set up.
Realizing the
impact. Yes. All right. So if now you can bring a little bit to the awareness, how you can absolutely transform and shift that agreement in something completely different that is going to serve you, that is going to open the possibilities to embrace something different and to live beyond enough and beyond the possibilities by using your skills, your gifts, your opportunities, your resources, etc.
Right. Well, I was even thinking the other Friday or Thursday or something, like kind of like thinking about money like air. Like there's enough. Nobody really worries that they're not going to have air to breathe today.
Correct. Exactly.
And that there is enough for anybody. There's plenty. There's as much as we want. So I think I had that shift and I had the jars and I thought, well, I'm putting money into them. And you've talked about the flow, and I'm like, so I took money out of the giving jar and I bought somebody, whatever their order was at Dunkin' Donuts when I got coffee. So I'm trying, I just like that idea of flow. It comes in and it goes out, and there's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody.
Exactly. So I wanted to ask you something here. How was the experience to buy the roses and buy this coffee for this person? And have this connectivity with the receiving and giving, and how this provokes a certainty of I know now what I know, and I break the pattern what I knew. That makes sense?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so it was funny. The only about the giving, I was just disappointed, that. I mean, I gave, and I was disappointed in that, you wanted to know. I didn't know what he got, or I wanted to know that he was excited, or it made his day better. That would have kind of been the icing on the cake. Not that I needed the recognition, but I just wanted, you just want to know that you make a difference to somebody. But I was
Did you ask her, or did you ask the person?
No, well, it was funny. Usually they'll tell you, and I didn't say, oh, what is the guy behind me getting? Because I'm like, it's not important. Whatever he's getting, I'm going to pay for. So I didn't ask it like that. I said, oh, I'd like to pay for the person behind me, and then she just did the bill, whatever. So it was probably because of the way I phrased it, but I'm sure who is not going to have a better day?
Absolutely.
Because you've done something nice for them. So in the end, it didn't matter.
Okay. It didn't matter, but you will love that you will have a face to say something, right?
Exactly. Right.
Okay. So what if the next time you were say to the person, okay, you know what? I'm going to absolutely invite you for this breakfast. Because sometimes, even if we are not putting into the awareness, we're doing that, but we're expecting some kind of recognition. Even if we say no, but it's like, I want that he will feel that I did something for this person. And sometimes we feel a little bit frustrated because we don't receive that, because we never had this opportunity before when we grew up, right? When we grew up, no one tell us, you're amazing, you did a great job, you are such a great soul, right? We didn't have this feedback.
Right.
So we still need that. And it's not a bad thing to ask for, you did a great job today, right? So next time, tell to the person, look, you know what? I'm going to do something for you today because I love this situation. What do you think about it, right? And set it. And will create another experience of you being satisfied. And this is going to build up, okay, in a different manner until you will arrive to the point that doesn't matter.
Right.
Right? And it's a huge, huge difference. All right. So, Laura, do the septennium because you will see beautiful things there. The other question about the septenniums, and I'm going to jump into the reconciliation of the opposites, is what gave you, Paige, in relationships, what idea or what kind of link in between you and the world have created this septennium in you? With the school, with the friends, with your parents, with the family, rhythms, which kind of connectivity with the world have you been created, or had you created in that period?
I don't know. I think for me, it's like, well, the difference is like when you do something, you get praise. Yes, you find the challenge. Sorry, I'm still getting my morning coffee.
Perfect. Celebration. Me too, Laura.
Mine's coming soon.
Okay, good.
I apologize. I think in the past it's always been like, well, if you've done something good, like that's brought the attention or whatever. And I think it's been a learning process just to feel okay when I haven't necessarily done something or performed in some way.
Mm-hmm. So that how this is related to, for example, results in your job or results in your business, and as well for you, Laura. When you will do it, I want you will pay attention about the results that we're expecting for other people that we are not getting in.
I mean, for me, with doTERRA, with my business, I definitely feel like that's been a frustration because, I mean, people have said to me, because I'm not, well, you're not enrolling 3 to 5 people a month, or you should be. And because I haven't been, and there could be a variety of reasons for that. It could be the lack of abundance, but it could also be I'm trying to get out there and meet people and build relationships, and that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think people have judged me because I'm not producing, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not bringing home the straight A's. But it's taken me time to realize it's okay, and I don't have to do it like they do it. This is who I am, this is what I'm doing, and if you don't like it, that's okay. But I'm not going to twist myself into a pretzel anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For you. I'm just going to do what I feel like, what is in tune with me. And
Perfect.
A lot of that is about building relationships first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And putting that energy into people, and then from that,
create something
business
different.
Opportunities and abundance will come.
Okay, good. All right, so I want that you will review again, and you do, Laura, the septennium, and see how are you performing when people are telling you no, or they are not recognizing you in that precise moment in the actual life. Okay, just give a little bit of out of thought, because this has also a huge connection with attracting more money and manifesting more money. Okay. Leah, how are you today, beautiful lady?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you?
4 days before
or 2 days before Christmas for kids, I'm insane. I'm at Walmart right now. So.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
My mother-in-law comes today, and it's just a lot, you know.
Yeah, I know.
I'm out in the matrix, so coming out here is it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, so breathe. 4, 7, 8.
Checking out. I came in. I'm good, but like,
Woo.
I don't
Okay.
know how people live in this world.
Yeah, me either. But anyhow, you're so brave. Always you're connecting. No matter what you're doing, you're always there. So I honor your word always. It's so incredible. I mean,
Yes,
all right. So one thing that you want to celebrate, if you had an opportunity to get into the second septennium, your input, and I'm going to get into the opposites right now.
I went to a murder mystery dinner with my college girlfriends the other night, so I'll celebrate getting out and doing something for myself.
Good.
I can't think. I'm checking out, so I can't think September right
now. All right, so no matter. Anyhow, we will continue. In the notebook, I realized that the third one is not there, so I have to send it again. The 1421, right? And the 2128 as well. So I'm going to share with you the document about where I am here. So many things. Oh my God. Here. Oop. All right. Do you see the screen? Do you? Yes, right?
Yes.
So, all right. So we have been learning a little bit about the frequency, right? What importance is to upscale our vibration, because this is one of the most incredible law of nature, and this is the connectivity with what is outside, and how we are instead being reactive, how we can be proactive and to upscale all the time the frequency to attract the things that we want to attract. We spoke about the septenniums, and that's very, very, very important. Is giving us the frame to understand how we build old agreements and how we are pulling from the past experiences incredible outcomes, right? Without even knowing that we are in this precise frequency and this precise momentum. What we're going to see today is how we can shift it anytime that is coming to us, the negativity, the wording that is not serving us, the thought that is not serving us anymore, into a new possibility. I'm going just to mute. Into a new possibility, right? Means that always in nature, always in our lives, in our human being experience here, there is dualities. There is the night and day. There is the rhythms. There are so many things that they are yin and yang. They are both part of the same, of the whole. But the problem is that normally, because of the past experiences and because of the agreements and because of the 95% of being in autopilot, we are not paying attention about how we can give the power to the positive one. And we are attached to only what we know. Okay, so what is mean the reconciliation of the opposite? What I wanted to say with that is in life, and I love quantum physics, and I love the biology of the thinking of the brain and all that, right? But here it's a little bit of physics, and I'm going to explain a little bit. I'm going to read it because it's very interesting, the concept itself, right? The reconciliation of the opposite, as you see, is a concept which two opposite, right, but equal forces, okay, will react to interact upon one onto another, so you will create another force for that, and that will be the result, okay, which is absolutely different of the things that you want to achieve, you want to co-create, right? This is, and I'm going to show you here this, all right? For example, in between love and fear, as I said, is two equal forces, right? In this case, love and fear could be the same ones, okay? But because of the past experiences and because of nature as well of the human being, most of the time we are paying attention and we're giving the force to the negativity because this is what we know. This is our brain is working, is pulling you to the things that you know instead to pull you to the things that you don't know. And it's better to be attached to the fear, in this case, let's put it an example, instead to move forward and to go with love or to be with compassion or to be with absolutely embracing the unknown, right? And this is what is creating your reality, okay? So for us to be able to understand this concept and to start working on that, we have to pay attention always about the opposite and to create that only by embracing both, you can give the power to the one that is going to serve you. Okay, it's going to give you the possibility to be in the whole by you knowing and bringing to the awareness in which force I am working normally. I'm working more in fear is because I choose to give the fear more power. It's because I have past experiences that giving me the alert to, oh, don't move there. And the reason is because we didn't put emphasis into the opposite most of the time. Okay. So if there is any questions, just, okay. So when we are just balancing both, okay, is when we are starting to create a new statement. We're starting to create a new awareness about how we are performing. And this is very, very, very crucial and very, very powerful because from now on, you will have the tools to stop for 1 second to see in which area are you giving more force, right, and more power. And normally is the 95% of the autopilot and negativity because this is what we know. And we are not paying attention about how we can create a new frequency when we're embracing the opposite and we're reconciliating with that. To reconcile with that, we need to embrace it. We cannot avoid that I hate my mother when she didn't save me from a horrible situation, right? Until I will not embrace that opposite, I will not be able to see the other one because this is what I am trained for. My brain was trained for that particular way of seeing the reality. That's why observation is crucial because I'm seeing with the perception of the reality that was there in that past. I don't see it with the new force that I wanted to create right now. Okay, so here is and you will have all this, right? So don't worry about that. There is an energy frequency of the words and how we see things in life, right? We can be in serenity, we can be in action mode, we can be with enthusiastic and motivated and inspiration. All these are part of the way of starting to think and to start to feel differently. And we're going to give more power to those areas, right? When we will see the frequency behind it, okay? So for example, if we are in fear, if we are in despair, in terror or grief, or making, a certain way of confronting situations, right? We're going to put ourselves in very low frequency. And this very low frequency is going to give power to the reaction mode, how we're going to act in our work. So far, so good. Any questions? No? Paige, do you have any question here? No? Leah, are you driving? You're okay? I don't know. Okay. So what happens when we are in this frequency, right? What we are doing is not attracting the things that we want. The reason is because I said many times, because we are cutting the frequency, we are cutting the line up. So when we're cutting the frequencies like the electricity, right? The connectivity between your desire and what we would love to have or to attract to you is not there anymore because you are acting in this frequency. manifestation of prosperity, money, the relationship that you want has to be in this absolutely frequency, not in the lower, right? So for example, when we are reacting, right, and we are acting in the frequency of pain or sadness, anger, shame, fear, right? All this creating in the whole body, and we have three main cores, three main poles: neurological, the rhythm pole, and the metabolic pole. If we are really acting in this left side of the energy, okay, we are not going to be clear in the positive, in the opposite, okay? So for example, if I am just focusing in the pain and I have pain, okay, instead to say, oh shit, I am in pain, this is terrible, why I'm having this situation, blah, blah, blah. Let's find out and let's shift it into, okay, what can I do, or what can I feel, or what can I start thinking to start feeling better, right? Or to be in fear, instead be in fear. Okay, so which small step I can do right now to feel more confident or to feel more empowered, okay? And I want to ask you one question now to you. What is for you the opposite of fear? Let's find out together. What do you think is the opposite of fear? Unmute yourself. Laura?
Am I muted?
Yes.
How do I unmute me?
I did it. I do magic.
I can't find it. Sorry.
It's okay.
What do I feel the opposite of fear is?
Yes. When you feel fear, okay, you're blocked, you're frozen. So let's see how we can shift it into the opposite and see the opposite.
Right away, the word freedom pops into my head.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Perfect. Freedom. Exactly.
Just free on every level, like free of the fear.
Yes.
You know?
So when you experience freedom, right, and that's the point. This is the exercise that we can do it in our brains. Okay, I don't want to experience fear. So that's a negative thought. Even by saying, I don't want to experience fear means I'm experiencing fear, right?
Yes.
So now how we can shift it into the opposite. I am free. I feel freedom. How I experience this freedom? With the things that you know that creates this freedom in your life.
Yes.
Okay, so give me an example in YouTube page. Let's see how in your own experience, by feeling freedom, you can reject the fear in that particular moment.
Well, it's funny because I'll just say one quick thing. When I wrote out the thing for 2018-19, on 2018, it flew out of me, all my negative stuff, which I think is funny because you're right, we know so well about, and almost everything started with fear. I was like, wow, I have a lot of fear.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it, but it looked funny to see it. Not funny,
okay.
But like.
So let's shift it now. Okay, the opposite of fear, and this is an anchor, and this is a way of how we are going to train our subconscious minds to, the next time there will appear fear, immediately we can shift it into the opposite. In this case, freedom. Okay?
Freedom to me at the moment is so many things, but how I can feel it in the moment overall is my connection to my spiritual source. Like, to me, when I can, if I'm feeling anxious and fear, if I get right into that, that's the first like huge layer, and then there's like little layers underneath. It would be like, then when I feel connected to my source, I feel safe. I feel like I'm not a small little victim human. I'm connected to my angels and all of that spiritual thing. So that trickles down into, well, then I feel like I'm physically safe. So my health is, and then my anxiety symptoms will kind of subside. And then it's also freedom in an abundant level, because then I'm able to interact, and have a nice car and have plenty of food and all that type of freedom and convenience as, things. So,
perfect. Okay, good. Paige, your turn.
Wait, what was your question again?
Okay,
Just so I can...
No, I'm saying when we feel fear, right?
Right,
If we shift it into the opposite to be able to train our subconscious mind, okay, how you will experience freedom if it's for you the opposite of fear. Okay.
Right, and it was funny because I said exactly the same word, like freedom.
It's amazing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also too, I think it also ties into optimism. Like I think sometimes there's fear, but like even in my business, like where when I felt overwhelmed, like I've been resentful, like, you know, where I go to my day job and then I have to come home and do these things for my business. But when I don't look at it like then if I can look at the other side of it, the freedom or like the optimism, like, and I guess that's the difference between letting go of all those negative things in 2018 and then moving into 2019, it turns into optimism. Well, what can I do with this?
Exactly. What can I do with this? And which attitude and which perception of really reality it is, right? Because fear is coming again from the past experiences, and it's coming because, all right, if I won't go out to meet more people because maybe I will feel rejected, and because I felt in that septennion that I felt abandoned, right? I was alone. I didn't feel care. I didn't feel love. I'm not moving. So I fear, and I'm creating this cycle, right? So, but in this precise moment, if I can shift it into the opposite, okay, all right, doesn't matter. This is my experience, but now I want freedom from that. And I want to optimize whatever relationship I have right now. The fear doesn't have power anymore, right? So we are starting to give the power to the things that really serve us in a very clever way. And in a very connectivity way with who we are. This is the becoming process. And that's huge. When you start to experience those small shifts, it's unstoppable. Nothing can really stop you.
Right.
Okay.
And I think one thing I've realized too, it's not a currency where you do A and then you'll get B.
Obvious.
I might have done A 6 months ago, but you're building relationships and, you know, and so I find things have been happening now, and it's not because of what I just did today or yesterday. It's because of what I did six months ago or a year ago and the relationships I've built. So I look at it kind of in that way, like where people have put expectations on me and I've gotten depressed or overwhelmed or resentful. They were looking at the very simple equation. You do
exactly.
A plus B will equal C, and it's like, no, relationships don't work
exactly
like that. And so I've had to really, like, joining your course, and there's been some negativity with the business with somebody, and just some posts that have gone out there, and I read them, and I'm like, that doesn't resonate with me. I'm not going to react to that because it's negative energy, and you're looking at the very specific equation. You have to look at it in a broader way. Expand
yourself, because if you want better results and to tap into the manifestation and really frequency of the universe and God or whatever, your high self, right? We have to expand ourselves. We have to reconcile with our past. We have to know it, but we have to expand ourselves to infinite possibilities. And this is why we are here, with a vision and the purpose to, for me, in my case, is to leave a legacy, whatever it is. If it's small or big, doesn't matter, right? So that's the key. Leah, do you want to say something? Sorry, beautiful. You're driving. Okay, just unmuting yourself. Yeah.
No, I love this conversation. I love what everyone's saying. It's getting me so excited to do this ceremony. Burning ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to be done with fear. Like I just want to be done with it. So if freedom is such a good word, it's actually a word I picked for my cards yesterday. Like my starseed cards, so the word was freedom.
Oh wow.
So yeah, just to be my authentic self and not care. I just can't wait to get there. But it's hard. I still am in that reaction phase a lot of the time.
It's normal. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal.
just as a mom and stuff, like I'm always reacting with my emotional body quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it is just retraining that muscle and redirecting.
Exactly. And one of the things that helps a lot when we're instead to be in this reaction mode is to be proactive, is to stop for 1 second, right? And when you stop for 1 second, we have the opportunity to bring into the awareness instead to be in autopilot. That's the difference. And to create this space where we can decide how we are going to be active in that process, right? Instead to be in autopilot and just blah, 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 blah. And that's a huge differences here. So here is a very interesting chart that I put it here, because when you connect really the emotion behind the word, you will be able to see it differently, how we are connected with the experience behind or the new things that we want to create. For example, love, if you feel joy and trust, this is the main heart of love. Guilt, joy, and fear. Guilt is because you want to do something, you want to create, but you're afraid to make this happen. So pay attention a bit to this chart and try to think about it, because it's very, very interesting how the emotion is hiding behind the word, right? And how it's going to help us to understand us better and to create another frame, another image in our brain. Okay, that's very, very, very good power chart. So, okay. So as I say, the perception of the reality is, as we grow, we learn to make
phone call completed.
Oh, sorry. To not to be connected with the whole, right? As we grow up, the people are telling us, no, this is not good. This is not you. This is you don't have these skills. We're starting to be a part of our holiness and sacred, and more women, because we are taking care about things in a very male energy, as we saw, right? So we have to start to integrate the different parts and to start connect with our intuition, as we said it before. And we need to start integrating our shadows, right? And only in that moment when we are embracing what we don't like and the fears from the past and the resilience and the sadness and pain and grief, right? Is when this polarity and this duality is going to create something different, okay? And no, we are not paying attention about why this happened to me. It's just embracing the reality that we had in that moment. And this is giving us the power to embrace the other polarity and to embrace the other opposite in a different way, okay? So this is a very good example. When we are denying our anger, right, we're not going to embrace our goodness, the power to be creative, right? And I'm going to tell you something. Anger is connected with liver, right? The liver is the organ that is going to help us to release the toxins in our body, in the physical body that we have. If we are not paying attention and embrace the anger that we have about things, people, circumstances, etc., we're not going to be able to transform the toxins, right, into something different. That means that we need to embrace whatever is pulling us out of balance to be able to start embracing the holiness of us. It's the only way that we can absolutely co-create with this universe in a different level. All right, so far so good? Yes? Okay. Here is an arts exercise that is very, very, very fun, and it's not really hard to do it, but it's going to help you as well to integrate a little bit the shadows, right, or the pain, or the grief, or the why this happened to me, and the reason, and it's not fair, and all this, right? Because it's going to help you to understand that it doesn't matter anymore. Doesn't matter. What matters is how we are going to be active with the information that we got from that the past experiences. And as well, it's gonna matter the attitude and the intention that we're going to hold that and to create something different from now on. So good. So you have here some questions. Is try the main question that will just pay attention, even if it's one question, is what aspects of yourself you have rejected. Okay, and in the moment that you have rejected some of your aspects that you don't like at all, you are rejecting as well some of the power tools that we have as a women, as a feminine power. Okay, you have a question, Laura?
No.
Okay, Paige, you have a question?
No.
No? Okay. So answer them, because you will see how many times in our growing period from 0, 7, 7, 14, 14, 21, most of the first 2 septennions, how many times do you reject some things, or people reject you, or you were in it, you don't, I'm not, you're not capable, blah, 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 okay? Make an aware, make a list about the things they have listened during this period. And it's going to tell you how you build the fears later on. Okay, that's very interesting exercise, because when you build those fears, right, those fears is telling you many things about how you perform in the actual life. Because all, as I said, 0, 7, 7, 14, 14, 21 are mirrors of our age right now. Okay, and it's a bridge in between all of them. So it's going to help us to understand that this fear is coming from that period and how I can transform into something different. In this case will be freedom. I want to be free from that fear. So in the moment that will appear again, I have the opposite and I can work with that opposite. Okay, good. All right. Here is one of
Carla, we don't have this document yet, right?
Yeah. No. I will post it in the group, so you will have it. So you have time to review it and ask questions about it. So this is very interesting. It's a character arc that I did it a long time, and it is how is our process, right, of thinking. So imagine that you have a goal to achieve, right, and you want something, okay? And you see that because of circumstances, you cannot achieve that goal, right? So I'm starting to think, okay, I cannot achieve that goal. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they don't want me. Maybe I'm not have enough skills. Maybe I'm not enough. I don't have the money. So you started to build up a false talk based on the fear of being not achieving that goal that you wanted to achieve, right? You try it again and you don't have the results. What is coming up is that you start to create an attitude, and you start to create an emotion. An emotion is just the emotion of a dynamic of your fear based on your past experience in your back office, let's say, and you're bringing to the present moment. And this is a very simple, example about the goal, but this can be applied to everything. You have something, you don't achieve it because something happened, and you start to create an attitude and emotion based in your back office. And this is what you bring into your present moment, and this is what you're going to create to move forward if you don't shift it, okay? So this is a very fun one. Okay, leave this for now. And this is another cool chart where it's going to help you to realize when the trigger is coming to you, right? As a fear or self-sabotage or whatever that is stopping you to move forward. So when it's coming to you, a fear, for example, about something, evaluate the data from where this is coming, feel it. After you feel, think about it, okay? Where this is coming through. Maybe because a teacher told me that I'm not worth it, and I created that agreement in that period, right? After that, put yourself in the intuition. This is real. This is really a this is something that I have created because something else told me, or this is something that is real and I can shift it right now. Connect with the intuition that is telling you, no, this is not real. This is something that I have created because I have to protect myself, okay? And after you start to open your senses to the different moments where you feel the same situation, the same thing, okay? This is gonna help you to frame it in a very high level, how those things are coming. It's coming from a judgment, or it's coming from a perception of the reality that you were in that period when you were 17 or 14, okay? And, okay, this is a funny thing, all right? But this is what happened as we grew up, right? As a child, as an adult, and super ego, right? That is a funny thing, so just read it. So here in the back, okay. Here, there's a very practical exercise that is very easy if we put it into the awareness. As always, if it's true, this fear that I have right now is true, right? And if it's not true, right? Or yes, ask again if it's true, all right? From where is coming the thought of that particular emotion? Is coming from something that happened today, or is a thought they have to build because something different, all right? Because when you're absolutely true that this fear is true, all right, you will see that it's absolutely not true, that you just created, right? And this is going to help you to understand if you're reacting or you're acting towards it. When you believe that thought, right, is when you're starting to notice something different in your body. And this is going to tell you that this thing is not true. It's just built into something different from the past that you bring into in the present moment, right? So start to feel the thoughts, because when you feel the thoughts, you are going to have the experience of something new if you decided that this thought is completely not true, that you just make up, okay? And the fourth big question here is how you can live without this thought. If I will be able to live without this thought of fear in this particular moment, how it will be my life? How will be this situation? How will we be that person? How I will fit in that particular situation, right? And the most incredible thing here in this process is the experience that you're going to have when you start shifting into the opposites, yeah? And when you're starting to turn around, right? And it's because you're giving yourself a new opportunity to be very precise how we are feeling about things and about the real things, not the perception of the things that you created in your life as a past experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you have here all the example, right? So you can ask the questions and you will see so frequent how we are trapped into something that we just is not true at all. It's like, for example, I am enough. Yes, I am enough. Is it true that I'm not enough? Or I'm not worth it enough, right? No, it's not true. And why? Because I have created this, because I built this, because look at my relationships. It's not true at all. So this is a very good exercise to put into the awareness how we are performing in a different high level, in the frequency that we want to be most of the time to be able to attract the things that we want to attract, okay? And that's it, just one. So, all right, so one takeaway and one transformation of one of the fears of the negative thoughts that you have mostly in the time that is coming to you and popping to you mostly, that you're doubting, or you have frustration, or you have sadness, or you have pain. Tell me which one is that. And first of all, one takeaway. Paige.
I think one of the fears I have is probably that I'm not going to be successful in my business. And then I guess related to that, the takeaway is just being reflective of how that fear is tied to my past and past experiences, and then shifting the way I think about it.
Great. So I will tell you that in this case, do an exercise. I want you will put a list of the things that where Paige was absolutely amazing, successful. Even if it's just, I don't know, to go for a hairdresser and put another color in your hair. Doesn't matter. The things that you achieved, that you feel that, wow, what I did. Okay?
Okay.
And put it into parallel is if it's true or not true, and how you can bring this successful into your business mode. Okay? Perfect. Laura.
The question is, what is a fear that I have that?
Yeah, what is the thing that is coming to your head? Like mostly is fear of success, or fear of, or frustration, or pain, or being in sad mood most of the time, or something that is part of your pattern, your belief system.
Well, I have a couple, but one that's kind of coming up is fear that I'm not enough, and that I'm not, and that will lead to me being not capable. You know, because I haven't even done the second septium, but I just remember something that happened that it comes up all the time, so it has to have meaning. Like,
yes, of course.
Somebody that a young kid in my neighborhood said something to me, and I think that I know it's not true, but I'm acknowledging that I developed a belief system off of it, and it carried over into bigger things. And if I'm still here right now telling you about it, then it's still, I need to shift it, you know, I need to transform it.
So put it in the paper, okay, the emotion that you have created around it, and the belief system that you have created around it, and see the opposite, okay, and how this can impact your life differently right now, and which power are you giving to it right now, if you can be, and you can bring into the awareness. Okay, so, so take the time, because it's not easy.
But what happens when, like, it's silly, you know?
Doesn't matter, but
I know it's not true, but I guess I'm still working on connecting my heart, and
that's the point,
you know.
So connect with the heart, and it's not silly, because you perceive it as a child, and you bring into your inner girl into the now. That's why it's popping to your into your now, into your present more than once, because you see it as a reality, right?
Yeah.
So how you can reconcile it with that inner girl that was affected to that word or that situation that this kid impact you then. Now we can do is to bring into the awareness and say, this is what's then. I'm going to realize how this impact into my life, and I'm going to ask the question, this is true right now. If I'm living without that, how my life it will be, how my relationship will be, how will be the relation with myself right now, how I can shift it, and how can say it, I can embrace it, right, and let it go. Okay. All right. So read the document. I would put it the recording during this morning as well. And it's going to come a lot of momentum, okay, during those days during these hours. You will be more aware and more precise about things. And I'm going to send you the other septennium as well. And that's it. I will see you tonight again.
It's at 8
p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
And we do this for tonight?
What?
this assignment that you're sending us now, is this what we're going to do tonight?
You
Or
can do it.
tonight?
No, the tonight thing is a little confusing. The tonight thing is the 13 nights of sacred.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay.
this is, you can have time until the next Zoom. So don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right, ladies.
Thank you.
I
Thank you,
love
Carla.
you. Many
Love you
thanks.
too.
Enjoy it and write aloud because it's coming at great timing. I'm telling you. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel
Okay.
it.
One thing, Laura, breathe. I feel your tension. I feel your ooh. So breathe it. I know. I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, you're completely all over the place. So embrace it. Be gentle with yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Be gentle. Grounded. Put music, and okay. All is good. All is good. Don't be hard on you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Love you. All right.
Thank you, Carla.
Bye. My pleasure. Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.